Hello fellow travelers, my name is SG and welcome to the channel. Today we'll be continuing on with Dante's Inferno with Canto 30. We are almost at the end. Last time we saw Virgil and Dante, they were still at the 10th Bogia, where they met two people who were back to back with one another and just constantly talking about how they kind of got to this place because they practiced alchemy and really didn't regret the choices they made. Alright, with that being said, let's continue, shall we? 'Twas at the time when Juno was enraged for Samael against the Theban blood, as she already more than once had shown. So reft of reason Athamas became, that seeing his own wife with children twain, walking encumbered upon either hand, he cried out, "Spread out the nets, that I may take the lioness and her whelps upon the passage," and then extended his uppitying claws, seizing the first, who had name Letrus, and whirled him around and dashed him on the rock, and she with the other burden drowned herself. And at the time when fortune downward hurled the Trojans' arrogance, that all things dared, so that the king was with his kingdom crushed, Hebenka, sad, disconsolate, and captive, when lifeless she beheld Polyxena, and of her Polydamas on the shore of ocean was the dolorous one aware. Out of her senses like a dog she barked, so much the anguish had her mind distorted. But not of Thebes the Furies nor the Trojan were even seen in one so cruel, in goading beasts and much more human members, as I beheld two shadows paled and naked, who biting in the manner ran along that a boar does when from the sty turned loose. One to Capitio came, and by the nape seized with its teeth his neck, so that in dragging it made his belly grate the solid bottom. And the Aretine, who trembling had remained, said to me, "That mad spirit in Gianni, Sicini, and raving goes thus harrying other people." "Oh," said I to him, "so may not the other set teeth on thee. Let it not weary thee to tell us who it is ere it dart hence." And he to me, "That is the ancient ghost of the nefarious Myra, who became beyond all rightful love her father's lover. She came to sin with him after this manner, by counterfeiting of another form, as he who goeth yonder undertook, that he might gain the lady of the herd, to counterfeit in himself Bueso Bonatai, making a will and giving it due form." And after the two maniacs had passed, on whom I held mine on, I turned it back to look upon the other evil-born. I saw one made in fashion of a lute, if he had only the groin cut off, just at the point at which a man is forked, the heavy dropsy that so disproportions the limbs with humerus, that which it will concocts that the face corresponds not to the belly, compelling him so to hold his limbs apart, as does the heretic who because of thirst or towards the chin the other upward turns. "O ye, who without any torment are, and why I know not in the world of woe," he said to us, "behold and be attentive unto the misery of Master Adam. I had while living made much of what I wished, and now alas, a drop of water crave. The rivulets that from the verdant hills of Casentine descends down into Arno, making their channel to be cold and moist. Ever before me stand, and not in vain, for far more doth their image dry me up, than the disease which strips my face of flesh. The rigid justice that chastises me draweth occasion from the place in which I sinned, to put the more my sighs in flight. There is Romina, where I counterfeited the currency imprinted with the Baptist, for which I left my body burned above. But if I here could see the tristful soul of Guido or Alessandro, or their brothers for Brenda's font, I would not give the sight. One is within already, if the raving shades that are going round about speak truth. But what avails it to me, whose limbs are tied? If I were only still so light, that in 100 years I could advance 1 inch. I hope already started one the way. I had already started on the way, seeking him out among the squalid folks, although the circuit be 11 miles, and not less than half a mile across. For them am I in such a family. They did induce me into coining floins, which had 3 carats of impurity. And I to him, who are the 2 poor wretches that smoke like unto a wet hand in winter, lying there close upon the right hand confines? I found them here, replied he, when I reined into the chasm, and since they have not turned, nor do I think they will forevermore. One of the false women is who accused Joseph, the other of the false Zenon, Greek of Troy. From acute fever they send forth such reek. And one of them who felt himself annoyed at being pre-adventure, named so darkly, smote with the fist upon his hardened paunch. It gave a sound as if it were a drum, and Master Addams smote him in the face with arm that did not seem to be less hard, saying to him, Although be taken from me all motion from my limbs that heavy are, I have an arm unfretted for such need. Whereat he answered maid, When thou didst go unto the fire, thou hadst it not so ready, but hast it so, and more than thou vast coining. The dropsicle, Thou sayest true in that, but thou wast not too true a witness there, where thou wasn't questioned of the truth at Troy. If I spake false, thou falsitest the coin, said Zenon, and for one fault I am here, and thou for more than any other demon. Remember, prejuror, about the horse, he made reply, who had the swollen belly. The rueful be it thee, the whole world know it. Rueful to thee the thirst of wherewithin cracks thy tongue, the Greek said, and that putrid water, and the putrid water that hedges so thy paunch before thine eyes. Then the false coiner, So the gaping wide thy mouth for speaking evil, as 'tis wont, because if I have thirst, and humour stuff me, thou hast the burning in the head that aches, and to lick up the mirror of Narcissus, thou wouldest not want word many to invite thee. In listening to them was I wholly fixed, when said the master to me, Now just look, for little wants if that I quarrel with thee. When him I heard in anger speak to me, I turned me around towards him with such shame, that still it eddies me through my memory. And as he who dreams of his own harm, who dreaming wishes it may be a dream, so that he craves what it is, as if it were not. Such I became, not having power to speak. For to excuse myself I wished, and still excused myself, and did not think I did it. Less shame doth wash away a greater fault, the master said, than this of thine has been. Therefore thyself disturben of all sadness, and make account that I am I beside thee. And if ever it come to pass that fortune bring thee where there are people in like dispute, for a base wish it is to wish to hear it. Alright, now we read the chapter, let's talk about it, shall we? And this one was mainly about fraud, or fraudsters, people who live as impersonators. Now we see that as a common theme, such as with the Florentine family that are pretending to be somebody else, and ultimately it caused them a mental state to degenerate, turning them basically into animals in this world. And of course we have Master Adam, who in himself kind of was sort of a leader, but led people in such a way that it was false. That there was no physical way that he could actually do anything, but still he led them in that direction. We do meet people beside him who acted more of who were fraudsters still, but to a lesser degree, I guess you could say. They were just there mainly following him and didn't really see anything wrong with tricking people out of the money. And even one of them seemed fascinated with the lower common people, which still here is still chastised by those who still think they're not in the wrong. Alright, I hope you guys enjoyed this chapter. I think this was a good one too. We are almost done with the book, a couple more chapters in, so please stick with me till then. We will do a final analysis video after. And please, if you like this video, please like, share, comment, and subscribe down below. I would really appreciate it. And I hope to see you guys again next time. Have a good one.